What's up, everybody? Welcome to Rideshare with Jonathan Lewis. If you haven't already, make sure to like, share, and subscribe below. If you like watching videos pertaining to Rideshare, Uber, and Lyft. Specifically, today, I brought on a guest today to talk about 10 tips for new Uber and Lyft drivers. Specifically, go ahead and introduce yourself and let us know where you drive at.
I'm outlaw of college football, also known as JPC. I drive here in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, home of the Crimson Tide. So I can give you some tips on how to drive on campuses and that kind of deal.
There we go. So, really, I brought JPC on to talk small market, and it's not really small, but I would say more of a medium market, I guess you could say. But it's built around the University of Alabama in Tuscaloosa, right? Not around major highways and cities and stuff like that, like San Antonio is. So, we're going to get both perspectives of this on the tips and stuff like that to help you guys out. So, to make sure to leave in the comments below also where you guys drive and do you drive Uber and Lyft? So, JPC, you only drive Uber, correct?
That's correct.
So I do Uber and Lyft, primarily Uber, but he only does Uber. So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into this. I'll start off with number one. Look, this is a must. Keep a spray air freshener in your car, folks. Look, I'm not going to get into specifics here because they can get really gross really quick. But there's going to be some dirty, smelly people that get in your car, and you can't always catch them to stop them before they get in your car. Maybe if you boot them out after you start driving, but I can tell you this much. I have a different problem than what JPC has, which he'll get into here in a minute. But with us, we have a lot of specific people that get into cars that smell really bad. And I had actually a woman get in this morning that smelled like she hasn't showered in like a week. So, and I had to immediately drop her off, drive 20 feet down the road and pull that out and spray it all in the car, open the windows and let everything air out. So, but yeah, give me your take in Tuscaloosa. What issues do you have as far as, people smelling?
I mean, yeah, well, I have an issue a lot because we get college students in my car. They like to smoke weed a lot. And today's marijuana wasn't like that when I was younger. It wasn't as loud. It seems to be a lot louder these days. They get in your car, they smell real bad. You have to keep them in your car for a prolonged amount of time. Eventually, you get dead nose to it. They get out of your car. You spray your car, thinking it's smelling better. I found out the hard way that that's not the case. It takes a while to get that smell out. You have to air that car out a little while, probably at least 30 minutes. I went to the store after I sprayed my car. I went in the store to get something, came back out to my car, and I could smell the weed again after I done hit it with air freshener. So my advice to you is to, even though you're probably going to miss some rides, to let that car out for 30 minutes so someone don't get in your car thinking you're smoking weed.
And, I was going to bring that up. Because I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but yeah, you don't want the next rider thinking you're smoking weed. You know what I mean?
They will report you probably.
Yeah, you'll get reported, and there you go. You're deactivated just like that. So moving on here, this one pertains to the smaller market, I guess. This is the one that JPC came up with here. Don't venture out of your busy area. So I'll let you elaborate on this a little bit.
Well, Tuscaloosa and San Antonio are the two cities we're talking about here mainly. And Jonathan's is sort of backwards from mine in that here that all the rides are closely around each other on campus and whatnot. So sometimes it's better to stay in town and take the shorter rides as opposed to taking a 15-minute ride, although it may pay you more then. Bigger picture, you're going to probably make more money by not accepting those rides, because if you have to ride way out somewhere in the sticks and then you have to come back, you're probably not going to get hit coming back. Whereas in a city like San Antonio, Los Angeles, New York, or somewhere like that, coming back to the city, you're probably going to get hit again. Whereas you don't get hit here in Tuscaloosa. You have to come all the way back to campus, and you're going to lose time and you're going to lose gas money.
100% agree with you on that. As far as the differences, so yeah, I didn't say this, but I do drive in the San Antonio market. It's a pretty large market here. You can drive outside of San Antonio and easily get rides back in. So it's definitely not an issue here versus the smaller market there. So my next one I'm going to talk about is put 25 to 30% back for taxes. 30% is the safe route here because you are a 1099 employee or contractor. Sorry. So they're not taking taxes out, specifically in Texas and Alabama here where he drives. So at the end of the year, when taxes come around, you're going to owe money if you don't track everything, which I'll get into here in a minute. but most likely you will still owe a little bit of money. So to be on that safe route, especially if you're a brand new driver first year, please put back 30% of everything you make for taxes in a savings or something like that. So, all right, that's a very, very general one. So moving on here to JPC's next one. Don't be afraid to report riders. I'll let you start this one.
Well, that goes back to the ones that you were talking about with the marijuana. I used to not do that, but since it leaves such a bad stench in your car and you're losing time and money by having to let it air out, I would report them. That way you don't have to deal with it again. Like you said, don't be afraid to report riders for that reason, because you're going to lose money each and every time, and it's just not worth it to me.
Because you best believe the riders will not hesitate to report you if they smell weed or alcohol or something like that.
Exactly.
So it goes both ways. All right, moving on here. Track your mileage and expenses. Now, let me get into this. There's multiple ways to track your mileage. Uber and Lyft does it for you, but I would use another app on the side to make sure it's as accurate as possible. Not saying I wouldn't trust Uber and Lyft, but they're not probably tracking every single mile you drive, especially when you're waiting around to get a ride, right? So, and what I mean by expenses, I mean, if I'm a first year guy, I'm telling you, especially if you're not experienced with this, I'm keeping gas receipts. I'm keeping everything. Every time I get an oil change, tires, brakes, whatever it may be, I'm keeping receipts on everything. That way I can write that stuff off on taxes if needed. So depending on how much you make, because there are Uber drivers out there that make over $100,000 a year, and you best believe they're going to be owing taxes. So you need to be keeping up with everything. Hell, you can even write off your cell phone bill. So, I mean, it goes really elaborate. I'll have to bring on somebody specifically for taxes one day on the channel to help you guys out as far as what can be written off and how that goes. Save money for maintenance. So I'll let you talk about that, especially in the small market where you're around a lot of stop signs and stoplights and everything else.
Yeah, here on campus, you do a lot of stop and goes. It really hurts your gas mileage. I'm not going to lie to you. It's really hell on your brakes. It's hell on your wheels too, because you're constantly turning and rubbing that concrete across your wheel and that kind of deal. But just if you can, sometimes you can't afford to, but try to put a little money back in savings for brakes and tires specifically.
Yeah, I think it would almost have to be a must, especially when you're talking about, because where you're at, where most people are at, you're going to get what's called a 20-point inspection, correct? And you got to get that once a year?
Twice a year.
Twice a year. So in the state of Texas, you already have to get an inspection done once a year on your car, and Uber and Lyft actually count that 4 years, and it's good for the whole year.
It used to be twice a year. So I think they just stopped that here. I think it's going to be just once a year from now on. Now, I could be wrong about that, but yeah, we did the 20-point inspection here.
So, and it's crazy because Texas is now getting rid of their state inspection, and as of next year, it won't be required at all, and Uber and Lyft will not require it. So it's actually getting more lenient here in the state of Texas, if that's even possible.
So I guess they're going to rely on the riders to report people for defective cars at that point.
Yeah, I mean, which would make sense.
And I think they moved the age of the cars back too for people. I think it's 15 years now.
Oh, really?
Car can be 15 years old.
Okay, I didn't know that. Number 7 I had, I put get a car wash membership. I know not every city is going to have this, but let me tell you something. Time is money, right? So me personally, I pay $31 a month, and this car wash is normally $19 every time you go through it, right? But for how much I drive, I use this car wash about once a week, if not twice a week. So doing the math, I'm saving quite a bit of money here. I'm also getting the free vacuums and stuff like that. I don't have to worry about that at the house. They also provide free rags, and they also provide free Rain-X spray. So there's ways to save money as far as like washing your car, time and stuff like that. So make sure you look into those as well. In Tuscaloosa, do you guys have anything like that? I'm sure you do, where you sign up monthly for a car wash or something like that.
Yeah, you can. It's just I don't. I choose to just hand wash it myself.
Yeah, and that's the disadvantage I'm at living in an apartment complex is we don't have anything like that here, unfortunately. So I have to rely on a car wash.
Conversation starter. It's good to have a conversation starter when your rider gets in the vehicle, and that way they feel comfortable getting in there. And It's sort of a fine line, though. You don't want to be overbearing and talking their head off if they don't want you yapping their ear off. So what you do is here in Tuscaloosa, for example, if there's a football game going on, it's going to be easy. You can start talking about football.
Yeah.
Or, if it's not football season and it's the summertime, just ask them how their summer's going. And if they start talking to you and carrying on a conversation, then, bandy it back and forth as long as you can. But if they just say it's fine and they just shut it down, that's probably an indication that they don't want to keep talking.
Yeah, 100%. Conversation starters is key, especially when it comes to tips. In my opinion, the way I gauge it is I'll have a conversation starter piece where, hey, I got a cell phone charger back there if you need it or whatever. If they immediately bury themselves in their phone, I don't talk to them. Plain and simple. I'll let them kind of start the conversation. I'll initiate the initial conversation starter. If they feed back into it, keep going, then I'll talk. Other than that, I don't really say anything. Number 9. Now this is a lot for me. I really do a lot of digging into this stuff, and this is find ways to earn passive income as an Uber and Lyft driver. What am I talking about? So something really easy is what's called the Play Octopus tablet. It's a tablet that's sent to you completely free. They pay for shipping and everything. You don't pay for nothing. And all it is you put it in your car, then it shows ads, and it lets riders play games in the back of your car. If you want to learn more about that, click on the card above here. And it goes over everything for you, but you get paid for that, right? And you get paid for referrals and stuff like that. It's making money literally while you're already driving Uber. So every ride I give, I get points to collect more money, right? So, and there's no gimmick behind this. Another one is Rapify. Now, these are usually in larger markets. So this is stuff you're probably not going to see in Tuscaloosa, the smaller market areas. Rapify actually isn't even in San Antonio yet. It's very off and on, but it is in Austin, Dallas, and places like that. What that is they will actually pay you $300, $400, $500 to take your car in, and they will put wraps on your car to advertise like Coca-Cola or HEB or Walmart on your car. They'll actually put like these wraps on your car and pay for it. And you earn $300, $400, $500, like I said, every month just for driving around and having that wrap on your car. So once again, it's just another way for you to earn passive income for just doing what you're already doing. And there's multiple other ways you can do this. But yeah, I would highly suggest looking into stuff like this. Now, moving on to the last thing, number 10, me and JPC is going to really elaborate on here. And that's going to be, really, this is for me in the bigger market as far as like, I just explored this. He's already been doing this, and we're talking about creating a strategy and sticking to it. And I'll just give you some quick details. Me, I used to accept every ride. I thought, okay, if I take every ride, if my car's moving, I'm making money. But I didn't account for mileage. I didn't account for the time it took me, right? So I didn't account for the gas, all that stuff. So yes, make sure you're paying attention to the rides you're accepting. Don't accept every ride. In larger markets, believe it or not, the rewards programs mean less, in my opinion. Why? Because I can afford to not accept every ride and let my rates drop, because I'll know I'll continuously still get these longer rides if I want them, or the shorter rides if I want them. There's no limited market for this. But with that being said, JPC, is there anything you want to say on the type of strategy you use as far as in the small market?
Well, me personally, like I said, sometimes I don't accept rides that are way out if it's really late at night. Now, during the daytime, I'll accept just about anything. Yeah. I'm not going to worry about the neighborhood as much. But, yeah. Other than that, I mean, what we elaborated on earlier pretty much covered everything for a smaller town for me.
I got you. So, and what I can elaborate to here as well is like you're going to have Quest through Uber, and then you'll have the other ones through Quest through Lyft. I forget what they're called. But either way, these Quest may say, hey, you need 100 rides or 90 rides in a week to earn an extra $300-$400. Now, if it's something like that, maybe in this bigger market, yeah, accept the shorter, the smaller rides that you may normally not want to, and accept everything just to get that quest done. But if you're looking for a specific quality of ride, like me, if it's anything less than 8 miles, it has to be a comfort ride, minimum. If it's not, I'm just declining every single time.
There's one thing I forgot. It's something that you actually pointed out to me, I think, is I don't accept riders with a score of less than 4.75. I've actually moved that to 4.8 because I noticed how, every once in a while someone, just gets a wild hair up their butt and they want to report you.
Yep.
For whatever reason, something silly. Like one of them said something about me looking at my phone too much. I have to look at my phone to put you in the spot that you want to go to, just so y'all know. If I don't look at my phone, I'm gonna drop you off and somewhere that you don't want to be probably. But so I've moved it up to 4.8 because it takes a lot of bad reviews to get you even past 4.9. So if someone's at a 4.75, they probably done something in somebody's car that you probably don't want them to do in your car.
Yeah, that I will definitely say I didn't think about putting that on my list, honestly. Yeah, definitely a minimum 4.8. And there's a multitude of reasons here. The why I do only comfort and above on less than 8 miles, the reasoning behind that is because about 80 to 90% of the time, those customers will tip me as well. And I get it, folks. I understand that, oh, I want to take all the rides and maybe there's people needing to go to work. I understand that. But at the end of the day, you have to earn your money. You have to make a way of living, right? So if this is your way of living, you know what I mean, specifically, you have to take care of yourself first. So, and elaborate to what JBC said, 100%. So at the end of the day, you need to make sure you're accepting what you want to accept. Because if you're letting just anybody in your car that has a bad rating, you never know. These people are throwing up sick, you know what I mean, damaging your car. Maybe they're trying to put 5 kids in the back of the car, right? So, I mean, there's a multitude of things that can go wrong here. Make sure you do not get deactivated. But
There's also another tip that you give me that you probably forgotten about as well. Get you one of those dog covers to put on your back seat.
I don't know how I didn't.
I don't know, but what it's called, I call it a dog cover because
it is a dog cover.
It's actually specifically for your dogs. So people get in my car and sometimes they'll ask me, "You got a dog?" Actually, no, I don't have a dog. But college students sort of act like animals sometimes. So I have to put that back here because them getting whatever they're going to get on your seat, whether it's some kind of bodily fluid sometimes or throwing up in your back seat, it's harder to get off your actual back seat than it is that dog cover. That dog cover, you can just take it off, throw it in the washer, and you're done, man.
Yeah, that's a really good tip. I can't believe I forgot about that, to be honest with you. So, all right. Anything else you want to talk about before we get off here? We talked about the 10 tips and a bunch of other stuff as well, actually.
All I got, brother.
All right. Well, appreciate everybody for watching today's video. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe below if you like watching videos pertaining to rideshare, Uber, and Lyft in specific. I do occasionally do Uber Eats, but it is super rare, like really rare. But anyways, hopefully you guys have a good day. Yep. And see you next video.